It's time for Cats Talk Wednesday. Small town and big city joined forces. Benny Hardy of Lynch, Kentucky, and Terry Brown of Louisville, Kentucky, team up to give you free-flowing, laid-back sports talk. Focus on Kentucky Wildcats, as well as pertinent information in the NBA, NFL, and Major League Baseball.
And you can get us each and every week, TB. You can listen to us if you like, or you can go to bs3tvlive.com and click that on-demand button. Scroll down until you see us, and you can play the episode. They're all right there archived, man. So good stuff. Appreciate the BS3 Network. How we doing, man? Well, outside of Sunday, how we doing?
I'm doing well. A little under the weather, but I'm doing real well. Look, it's still all Cats everything. The baseball team is off to its best start in a long time. So ranked number 23. So it's always good. Always good.
Coach Minge was needing to have a big year, and so far so good. Was 18 in a row.
Yeah.
Beat EKU last night, like you mentioned. Done snuck into that top 25, stacking wins. And that's, look, you said it. We talked about it. The SEC is brutal. They got 30 conference games coming up. So, and they already swept Mississippi State. So that's wonderful because they just won a title a couple years ago.
Yeah.
But winning these Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday midweek games, just stacking as many W's as you can, because there's going to be some bumps and bruises when you play Arkansas or Alabama or South Carolina, whoever. So get you some wins stored up to absorb some of the little bumps. But hey,
absolutely,
I'm loving it, man. You keep seeing the victory Kentucky tweets from UK baseball. I'm like, yes.
It's still all Cats everything.
Absolutely. We got probably most of the stuff out of our system Sunday. We were on round of shots right after the game, pretty much.
Yeah.
Sunday night, Sunday evening, whatever it was. And, like you said before we started, everybody saw the game. As positive as you are, you said, I don't know how many times throughout this season, this team can make it to the second weekend. We'll take it. I'm kind of good with that. And, people get on you for being on the gamut that's super optimistic. And you were even like, this team get to the second weekend. Hey, it kind of is what it is.
I thought it would be a win if we got to the Sweet 16. I thought, because for my money, the second weekend, that's an accomplishment no matter what, right? Like that's something you can hang your hat on. And as this season progressed and we saw the lows, I said, yeah, this team get to the second weekend, that's going to be pretty good. And the team didn't. The flaws we saw all season were kind of right there. We rebounded well, did not shoot the ball particularly well, and just had some defensive breakdowns at the worst possible times. But, you got people pulling up from 30, not a whole lot you can do with Dame range. So I was glad we finally got the monkey off the back to get the one win in the NCAA tournament. So I'm happy about that. Oscar still showing why he's as great as he has been. But it's fair to say this season was a bit disappointing from what we thought preseason to where we ended up. It was frustrating to watch at times, but there were good moments.
Yep.
And so, as I've often said, sometimes you just end up with a season.
Mm-hmm.
You don't end up with a bad season. You don't end up with a great season. Sometimes you just get a season, whether it's a second round loss or an Elite Eight loss, whatever. Sometimes it's just a season. The problem is we've had a couple of it's just a season, followed up by a abjectly terrible season. And that's why there's this general malaise in the Big Blue Nation.
Perfect word, malaise.
Yeah, there's just this. We'll never be good again. Cal's got to go, or people, I'm just not invested as I used to be. And look, winning cures all of it, because you and I know the next season, if next year's team is 25-2 heading into March, we'll be right back on that narcotic. All of us will be.
January, February, Kentucky, and we'll mean it.
And so, all these people, okay, the team isn't winning. You really don't have to tell us how much you've moved on as a fan. Nobody's buying that, right? Like, oh, I used to just set my calendar by Kentucky basketball. Now I realize there's more to life. Well, it seems like okay, great, right? But because you and I know these people will be right back on it, right?
And if you moved on like you said you moved on, you still wouldn't be talking about how much you moved on. You remember the time when we kids and Mama B is at a friend's house and we gonna leave here in a minute, and 30 minutes later you still playing with her friend's kid, and hey, TB, come on now, we about to go in a minute. And they get to talking again, and Mama ain't moved on yet. She said we leaving, but we haven't left. These people, I've moved on. No, you haven't, because you're still telling us about how you moved on. If you moved on, you'd already be gone.
Right. And so the same people, social media obviously wasn't around, but the same people that moved on when Kentucky went on probation and wasn't on TV for the year or two, there was somebody somewhere between Paducah and Pikeville, Louisville and London, somebody somewhere, I'm through with it. The Cats ain't on TV, they on probation, I'm through with it. Mm-hmm. But they got right back on. Rick Pitino took them Cats to the 93 Final Four, right? Yeah. All those people during the Tubby years, I'm through with it. 10 lost Tubby, I'm through with Kentucky basketball. I moved on. Uh-huh. When John Wall and them got to number one in the country, they back on that narcotic. Look, sports fans, you're not fooling me.
Yeah,
you're not fooling me. Yes, it's not fun when your team's not winning. It isn't. But stop like, oh, I'll never care again. Yes, you will. I mean, and I'm saying that for myself. Like I try to say, I'm trying to be as level-headed as I can. And you and I, we've talked on here when the 49ers went through that dip. I was very pragmatic, right? They went through that dip, had the run with Kaepernick, another little dip, and I'm trying to talk myself and all these people. Blaine Gabbert, you remember? I'm like, well, he's got some. But when the team starts rolling, I'm like, you know what? Jimmy G, let's see what you got. That's what happens, man. Mm-hmm. It's okay. I think for me, and I don't mean this derogatory, but I always thought the Kentucky fans were through thick and thin. That's what I thought. Like it didn't matter. Mm-hmm. We were still going to show up and rah, rah, rah. That's not the case. And that's okay.
Nope.
It's really okay. We're no different than anybody else, right? Mm-hmm. Look at attendance numbers when the team is good versus when the team is not good. Look, it's okay. Mm-hmm. Staples Center, well, it's not Staples now, Crypto Arena, or I don't even think it's Crypto Arena. I don't know where the Lakers play. Not quite as full as it is when Shaq and Kobe were at their peak. And that's okay. Yep. Right? So it's okay to be another fan base. That's the only thing that struck me is I always thought, hey, Kentucky fans, we ride or die. But not exactly, and that's fine. We're just regular fans, and that's okay. Mm-hmm. We're passionate. Other people are passionate too. Now, we're just a lot more vocal in our passion.
Yeah.
I think that's where the separation comes in. But we're like everybody else. When the team's winning, it's the best thing ever. When the team's not winning, Well, I've just got to find something else to do with my weekends. Okay. I mean, cool. Like, you don't have to watch.
Right.
That's my only thing is when it comes to sports fan, you don't have to do this.
Yeah.
If there has been things that it doesn't bring you joy, you don't have to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And so, okay, you don't want to watch them. That's fine. I'm not judging anybody, but don't tell me all this stuff. I'm just giving up. Okay, okay. Like, I don't know what you want.
Some attention for giving up.
And I mean, okay, I don't know what to tell you.
That's just over.
And so the people that get on me because I stay positive, I always ask, like, how do you get through life? Well, I just expect the negatives. I expect the bad stuff to happen, so I'm never disappointed. I'm like, that is a very weird mind view. It is. Like, you want to keep it real. Well, sometimes we have to do stuff in life that doesn't make sense. Right? Like, between the two of us, Vinny, you've been married, 21, 22 years? What are we up to?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it'll be 22 in August. Yep.
Right. And I've been married twice. The odds say, I think marriage divorce rate's 50-50. No one gets married to get divorced.
Right.
You don't go into it. Well, the odds say 50-50 chances ain't going to. That's not the way it works, right? On paper, having kids is a bad idea. They're expensive. You know what I'm saying? There's a whole list of things of having kids, but sometimes you just have to do things. And that's what sports is. You have to believe. I got this perspective because I married a Cubs fan and they went 108 years without a championship. There was no tangible benefits to being a Cubs fan. And when they got close in 2003, Bartman happened.
That's brutal.
Right. So
that's been 20 years ago?
Yeah.
Gosh.
We're heading into 20 years, yeah.
Jesus.
So for me, look, I'm not telling people how to fan. That's fine. You don't want to watch, you want to fire Cal, fine. Whatever. As I told you before we started, I don't have it in me to every single day either relitigate the 2022-23 team or to look ahead every time somebody hits a transfer portal from Arizona State Tech I don't care how they're going to fit. I don't. Right. I can't do it.
Yeah.
I've got too much stuff. I don't need a projected lineup. I can't do it.
No,
people that want to do that, that's fine. I can't. Mm-hmm. I can't do it.
Take a pause.
Well, if Oscar were that ship sailed, man. We've been dissecting that since the Bahamas for this past team. I can't do it. Mm-hmm. We don't need to relitigate every single thing. Yep. I'm trying to be better about that myself. I'm not trying to point fingers, but what does it do except make you mad? People still upset because Patino didn't have Derek Anderson playing in 97. What is it going to do except make you mad? Uh-huh. Right? What is it going to, Patino didn't guard the inbounder, right? Keith Bogans twisted his ankle, whoever we played before Marquette. Like, what is that going to do except make you mad?
No.
You start looking at the woulda, coulda, shouldas, and that makes you mad. Because you start looking at, well, we got 8. At this point, we could have 12. Well, then so can everybody else. Everybody else has a whole lot of woulda, shoulda, couldas on the plate. And that's all I've said about Coach Cal, both inside and outside of the Big Blue Nation, is every coach. We've talked about this before, Vinny. Every coach that's reached that level has at least 3 or 4 teams where you go back and look and you're like, how in the hell did that team not win a championship? Mm-hmm. Roy Williams had like 3 or 4 at Kansas.
Yeah, never won at Kansas.
Right.
Paul Pierce and Rachel Frentz. And,
Yeah, Jock Vaughn. That
yeah.
97 team was like 34-1, I want to say, until they lost to Arizona. So the thing is, they all have this on their resume. All of them do. To be honest with you, the team we don't talk about a lot in Lexington, the 1995 team, was really, really good and shouldn't have lost to North Carolina Elite Eight. But I ain't going to bring that one up. See what I'm saying? Every single team, talk to fans of any other team. Step out of just the Kentucky this. Every team has a squad that, hey, this team's winning it. And they don't.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They just don't. You know, Michigan fans with the Fab Five. We talk about them like they won, but they didn't win.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And sometimes that just happens. Championships are hard to win.
They are.
So anyway, I'm going to enjoy the basketball offseason. I'm looking forward to spring football, looking forward to baseball and softball. Coach
Mm-hmm.
Garrison of the gymnastics squad. Gymnastics, which way is it?
Mm-hmm.
Gymnastics squad, SEC
Uh-huh.
Coach of the Year.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I'm still all cats everything, but
Yeah,
it was a tough loss. Right?
Yeah.
You had it, but
Mm-hmm.
well, sometimes that's just the way it goes, you know?
You know, the little kid went off on us in the second half. Marquise Noel, man, and I said it Sunday. Being 5'8" myself, I love to see guards that play like that. You know, Tim Hardaway, Travis Best, you know, Isaiah Thomas, the 6 foot and under guys, and they didn't have an answer for him. You know, like you said, the 30-footer, that was up 4 and they throw one in. They threw daggers and we didn't, to quote Cal. And when they were on the ropes, they ended up getting off the ropes and making some plays. And you know, he penetrated and dropped dimes. He got buckets. He did whatever he had to do. And you know, can't blame this one on you for Kansas State because you weren't there for this one. Like, you did that Boise Atlanta back to back. Ryan Black covered Kansas State then. He covers Kentucky now. So what a change of events that is. And,
Yeah,
you know,
Kansas State is
crazy.
becoming the UConn and Marquette of they got our number in the tournament, man.
Mm-hmm. Just a thorn in the side, man. Just a thorn in the side. So, and you know, what people want to get mad about with Jerome Tang, we have more dudes than them, or they got tradition. Look, when you win, you can pop off and say whatever, and everybody's pretty much just gonna take it as fact because you know, if you close them out, he's not able to pop off and talk that talk.
But here's the thing about that. Yes, to the victor goes the spoils, right?
Mm-hmm.
My only pushback is if you are one of the blue bloods, you can't say that.
Oh well, no, because
but you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Kansas State beating Kentucky, you can say that. But if like in 2015, we boat raced Cincinnati, it would have been very gauche if Coach Cal would have been like, we got dudes, they ain't got no dudes over there. We don't accept that from everybody. And that's fine. But not everybody can talk that talk, right? Like
no.
You know, all the great Kentucky teams, those coaches couldn't have said those kinds of things. You know, it's unfair, but I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. But Kentucky, you can't do that if you beat a team.
Right.
It can only be done to you if you lose to a team.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it looks bad, even if it's blue blood versus blue blood, right? Today is the 25th anniversary of the Duke Kentucky game in the 98 Elite Eight.
Mm-hmm.
Coming back from 17 points down. Tubby couldn't have been like, we got dudes over here, they ain't got no dudes over there.
Right.
It only works if it's
David beats Goliath. Yeah.
David that's fine.
Mm-hmm. That's true. That's true. Man, speaking of, we talk 90s a lot. We talked about the game Sunday. We mentioned Patino a couple times already. He's stepping back up to to the big level, leaving Iona, going to St. John's, going back to New York, replacing your homeboy Mike Anderson,
Yeah.
who's going to get his money, who is going he's got the settlement. I'm sure they're going to settle something for
gonna give me
him.
my money. Yeah.
That's right. So your boy Mike is going to get his bread. So Rick Pitino replaces Mike Anderson. Your boy that you brought on here is replacing Rick Pitino. So I mean,
Hey, Tobin Anderson, it's been great following him and his wife Jody on this run, seeing the tournament from that point of view, keeping up with them, particularly on Facebook. It's just been, it was good that they made it to the tournament. That was celebratory, and winning in the first four, that was celebratory. But beating Purdue, yeah, that was something. And I'm not surprised, because a lot of people didn't have faith in Purdue to begin with.
mm-hmm. Yep.
And so
what's the malaise there? What have they done the past 3-ish, 4-ish years? If you're talking about our malaise,
lose to lower seeds, lose to a 13, a team seeded 13 or worse last 3 years. And so that's the thing too. And look, I saw Paul Feinbaum and ESPN guys and whoever. Yes, they're dogpiling on Coach Cal. That's fine, right?
Mm-hmm.
That goes with the territory.
Yeah, that's a yearly thing with Feinbaum.
Yeah, dogpiling on Cal because of the last 3 years, blah, 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 blah. Mm-hmm. That's fine. But then there are a lot of dudes that haven't done what he's done that we're supposed to believe in. Like, I'm sure Matt Painter's a great person. He's a very, very good coach. But it gets to the point of, you got to do something in March. And so, as we talk about Gonzaga, and Gonzaga's made the Sweet 16 8 straight years, 9 straight years, whatever. They've been to 2 title games. Okay, haven't got the big prize, but that's something. And then you look at Virginia, and it appears the aberration is that championship. Because it appears that it's never going to happen again.
Man, you talk about style of play. They want Cal to change. Is Tony Bennett? I think he kind of dug in on that slow down game he does. He's not,
because you can't put teams away, and then when you get behind, you're not built to make up any ground. And so I think it works, but then it doesn't. I mean, yeah, they won the ACC, I think, this year, but I think a lot of it has to do with ACC was down.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. Like I said, I'll watch some of the Sweet 16, the Elite Eight games. I'm not as into it as I would be if Kentucky was in it. But no blue bloods.
Nope. But UCLA they play Gonzaga. They play Gonzaga. That's it.
UCLA. And I've got them as a blue blood, simply because that run was so great. It's hard to ignore. It's hard to kick them out of the room.
Grandfathered in. They got
right. But UCLA has not been good year in, year out like the other blue bloods have been. So for my money, and this is that existential crisis the blue bloods find themselves in, right? This is going to be the second straight term. Well, I know that this won't be second straight, because last year's Final Four was Duke, Carolina, and Kansas. But there seems to be a shift in the college basketball. There's been no dominant blue blood in the last few years. It's been probably the longest run without a Kentucky, without a Duke, without a Carolina, just looking good from November to March, right? And so the landscape is changing. And so my argument is, whatever made the blue bloods in the first place that want to, they just have to figure out the new landscaping.
Mm-hmm.
And I get Kentucky fans are upset. I'm in no way saying the last 3 years have been acceptable. They have not.
Mm-hmm.
And see, that's the straw man argument that gets thrown in my face a lot when I'm like, I think we can turn this around. And it's like, oh, you think this is acceptable? No, it absolutely is not. Like, I just want to tweet at my lovely wife. She will tell you Kentucky winning brings me no joy, right? But I understand there's a reason why Kentucky's been successful for 80 years. We adapt,
Mm-hmm.
right? There's that institutional. We are going to be good at men's basketball.
Yeah.
What does that mean? It changes every generation, every that changes, right? But what I'm saying is we will be okay. That's all I'm saying. So I'm not going to spend the next 6 months looking at transfers, looking at I can't do it. I can't do it. I'm just going to take a break.
Yeah.
Watch some spring sports, watch some World Baseball Classic, or what. We got to talk about that.
Yeah.
Watch the NBA playoffs and yeah.
Yeah. The playoffs are coming. No. I'll just be a innocent bystander for that, but I will still enjoy it as my Rockets have 18 wins or whatever. But still always fun to watch that. The World Baseball Classic, man, the WBC. I hadn't kept up with. I'm not gonna lie. I've been watching more basketball, but saw the highlight of the finale, and and I was just chuckled because you had us cracking up about the Angels. Edward Perez, our guy's been on here before, lived out there, went to their games, and we talk about how Trout could go down to town Louisville and nobody would know who he was. I mean, he could just walk, right there, walk out the gout house and nobody would know him. Otani the same way. We never see those dudes play. Pujols went out there and we forgot about him. As big as he was in St. Louis, we forgot about him in LA Angels of Anaheim. And so Otani v. Trout for all the marbles in the World Baseball Classic. And Otani coming out there trying to nail it down. Trout trying to keep the rally going, and it was mano a mano. They said they never faced each other. It's crazy. They have been teammates 5 years already. I can't believe Otani's already been there for 5 years.
Yeah.
And Otani throwing 100-mile-an-hour lasers and then 88-mile-an-hour sliders with filthy movement, and he strikes old Trout out. But it wasn't October, but that's the first moment probably the world has seen them because the Angels haven't made the playoffs, hadn't done anything in the postseason. So it had to be a March World Baseball Classic to get those two dudes. And like you've said it before in the All-Star game, you end up getting a shortstop from Pittsburgh against a closer for Kansas City, and nobody knows who those dudes are. So we got Otani Trout for the ball game, which was awesome, man.
And this is probably going to be the most consequential game they will play over a decade, right? It's criminal what's going on with it. Like, are the Angels a money laundering scheme? What's going on? Because not just 2 All-Stars, not just 2 Hall of Famers, but like 2, they're going to make that short list of all-time greats.
Franchise guys, just
And how do you not do anything with that? Look, the World Baseball Classic is fun. That's the way baseball should be played.
Yeah.
It should be electric.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't need to be stoic. It doesn't need any unwritten rules. Doesn't need half of the written rules. Let these dudes have fun. And when you see in other sports, it's fun. It really is fun. The players having fun, the fans are having fun.
Mm-hmm.
There is no reason where you get a hit and you have to tuck your head as you go to first base. Come on, have some fun. That's all I'm saying. That should be the takeaway.
Yo.
You want people to tune in, give us something on top of the baseball. I'm not saying you stop giving me gimmicks. Let these dudes show some emotion.
Mm-hmm.
Let's flip some bats. Let's do all that stuff. Make baseball fun again.
Absolutely. I mean, who was it for the my guy for the Braves? I was trying to see the tweet, but he said he's 41 years old, been in the majors 17 years. And I think he said this is the most fun he's ever had playing baseball. This little stretch of the World Baseball Classic. So, dude that made his money, done won a World Series, and but just unadulterated joy of this classic, man, because they kind of let their hair down, they can exhale, you don't have to be all stuffy and
right.
Live by the code. Oh, what is the code? Oh, the code. Oh, I'm gonna wear one if I do this. Nope, not in the World Baseball Classic. So yeah,
just have some fun, and it's fun to see. It's fun to watch. The Great Britain uniforms were trash. Looks like they just got on site like, oh, we need to come up with something. But I enjoy watching it. I'm a baseball fan, not so much an MLB fan, but I do love baseball. But it was good to see, and Ohtani, Trout. We'll see you on SportsCenter highlights.
Yeah, losing to Seattle and Baltimore and Tampa Bay, and what by the middle of May there'll be 13 games out. Season already. It'll be meaningless games for them by May 20th.
Yeah, by Memorial Day they're out of it. So just have fun. You're in LA, so have some fun.
That's it.
You know how hard you have to work to be kind of anonymous in LA if you're anyway.
Yeah, they've mastered it. You mentioned spring football too, which that's kicking back up. Spring break's over. Hearing all the cool stuff about Devin Leary and the Big Blue Wall is looking like it's reclaiming its identity and a lot of positive stuff. Sad note, disappointing note, Vito Tisdale got dismissed from the team. Violation of team rules. That's basically all they said they're going to say.
Right.
Hated to see that. His Pop's part of Nappy Roots. They were Louisville fans. They decided to come to Kentucky. This dude would blow up anything moving. His last play is a Citrus Bowl against Iowa where he lights that receiver up and kind of sets the tone. Hurts his shoulder. He's done for the game. Never played again because he got hurt in fall camp the following year. So that was his last play in a Kentucky uniform, blowing that kid up for Iowa. So just hope that whatever it is, I saw him put out a statement, thanking the coaches, thankful to be able to attend this prestigious university. It was a nice statement considering everything that had happened. Hopefully he can be all right. Hopefully whatever it is can be resolved and he can still have a good career and it hasn't been so detrimental that it's, costly. But hate to see that. And you from all indications, Stoops is a player's coach. He must have really, really kind of acted a fool to get himself dismissed. That's just me thinking that.
Yeah.
But hope the best for him going forward.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not even paying that much attention to spring football.
I just saw that tweet and I went, whoa.
Yeah,
dismissed.
Because the thing is, everybody looks good in the spring.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying that to throw water on anybody's thing, but everybody looks good when it's t-shirt and shorts, right? And so every coach at the end of spring camp, everybody's going to go undefeated. But we know that's not the case. So I temper my expectations a little bit. No coach, this has been terrible. They don't say that. But I think it is good to a point that spring football does mean a little something for Kentucky. We've disappointing year last year. We got the opportunity to bounce back.
Mm-hmm. That's it. Not trying to stay sad, but can't not talk about it. Before our time, kind of. You still a Louisville fan, but Cedric Jenkins tips in the last second shot to beat Louisville in '87, and saw where he passed away. Saw friend of the show Reggie Hansen tweeting about it and putting it on Facebook. Rex Chapman put the picture of them on the couch.
Right.
Couldn't be more 80s. Winston Bennett wearing a Coca-Cola t-shirt. Rex looks like he's 11.
Yeah, the Coca-Cola t-shirts never made sense to me, but like what are we doing?
And Winston is, he's he got Louisville Mail like Corey Price. He went to Louisville.
Yeah.
And he's, peak physical condition, ripped, sitting there in a Coca-Cola shirt. I'm like, that is hilarious. But you can't get more 80s than that couch, those Nikes they had on, the gear. But hated to see that about Cedric Jenkins. He's another one we talked a few weeks ago when Fred Hickman for CNN passed away. One of those reached out to try to have on. Same thing. I messaged back and forth with Cedric, and he was like, "Oh, that sounds fun. A little busy right now. Holler at me in a few months." And I did, and it's just one of those things that never materialized. And I never got to meet him or talk with him. And just heck, we were 9 years old when he was playing at Kentucky, but just hated to see that. We just talked about Felton Spencer last week, Cedric Jenkins this week, and Willis Reed as well. But just hate to see and hear about all that.
Oh yeah, Cedric, from everyone that was around him, this one of those things. Much better person than a basketball player. How many folks that may have had longer, more storied careers, but Kentucky fans of a certain age, everybody knows that tip in, that play, that play that we heard about, broke my heart as a youngster.
Yeah.
But still you have that moment. And so definitely condolences to his family and friends and everything. And as you said, Willis Reed, what he, he comes running out of that tunnel. That was NBA TV. That was the NBA moment there in the 73 finals. And people forget he only scored those first 2 buckets.
Yeah.
And that was enough for the Knicks to win. So just sad news last couple of days in the basketball world.
Yeah. So we had to mention all those things for sure. I just popped the TV on. I hadn't watched much WC, World Baseball Classic. I hadn't watched any of the CBI or the NIT. But Eastern Kentucky had made it to like the semis of the CBI. So that's like the only team from Kentucky that was still hooping. But look, I think Charlotte just knocked them out. So I think they made the Final Four of the CBI. Like the only team in the state that was still having a season, and looked like it just came to an end. Charlotte, of course, Mike Pratt was there, and we had Michael Garrett on, who was like the assistant AD out there. He came on a few months ago. So like Charlotte knocked out the Colonels, but congratulations to them for making it that far.
Absolutely. I saw that and I'm like, they're playing in the middle of the day.
Yeah.
It is what it is. I support everybody. Go everybody.
That's right. So, playoffs, your Lakers gonna make it? I'm wearing my little stuff because one of our 18 wins, Rockets beat them the other day. So
yeah. So I don't know, man. It's gonna be tough. I think last I saw we're still 10 or 11, and I don't know. Because I think when we lost to the Rockets, the AD didn't play, and AD got to play, man.
Yeah.
If we're gonna be serious about this, he's got to play because he's been balling out. He's been putting up some numbers, but he got to play. And we got some good pieces at the trade deadline. So if we're not making this push, what are we doing this for?
Right. Let me plug this laptop up real quick. But the Kings out there, Fox and Monk, lighting the beam. Mike Brown out there, they got a nice little thing going out there, man. I'm happy for De'Aaron. He was out there getting his brains beat in his first part of his career. So glad to see him at least get a taste of the playoffs, and hopefully they can make a nice run.
Yeah, because as we said before, yes, the Kings they're finishing guaranteed to finish over 500 for like the first time in who knows how long, and but the West, this is as wide open as I can remember the Western Conference ever being. The Warriors can't win on the road.
Unbelievable.
The Suns, KD out, as we talked about before, banking on KD and Chris Paul to stay healthy over the 2-month grind as playoffs. Yeah, that's a little rough. I mean, the Nuggets. Do you have faith in the Nuggets? I don't. Jokic is great.
Yeah.
But the Nuggets, so in the Grizzlies, look.
I think Ja comes back tonight against my Rockets.
The Grizzlies are a bunch of jerks.
Dylan. So is Coach K right now after he tried to reprimand Brooks? Is Dylan making Coach K seem right? Because we were all team Dylan when Coach K got him in the handshake line.
Yeah. You know, but the thing about it is, if you're going to be a kind of, I don't want to say a lovable jerk, one, you got to be good, I think, and your team has to win. That's part of it. If the Detroit Bad Boys were just out here, thugging it up on the court, we wouldn't see them the same way. Right? They were thugging it up as they were winning.
Yeah.
So if you're going to do that, like for all of Draymond Green's antics, part of it is because he's, on a great team and they've won, but part of it is he does the things that contributes to winning.
Yeah. Even when he has triple singles, he's still
just being a bunch of jerks. Now, look, that may fly in Memphis because that fan base don't care what y'all think. So it may work, but but then the Warriors, the Thunder, that's the most perplexing team I've seen. They kind of said before the season, we out here, we're not trying to win, but then Shea decided, yeah, I think I'm gonna have an all NBA season. I'm like, okay. So the Mavericks, like
they can't stay healthy either. We talk about KD and CP. Luka and they staying hurt down there too.
And then you got the Timberwolves down at 9 and the Jazz at 10. I forgot the Timberwolves existed. I saw today that Cat's coming back. I'm like, oh yeah, he's been in. Like, they're Minnesota Timberwolves. That is a team. I just put them out of my mind. And the Jazz, I don't even think about the Jazz, but
no, never.
The Lakers, they're all huddled together, and it's like if the Lakers could win just 3 straight games, that would do it.
A mini little spurt. That's all you need.
3 straight games, they could lock this up. But who knows? I think the Eastern Conference playoffs is going to be fantastic. You got the healthy Bucks, which are leading the conference. The Celtics,
they're still weird. Something's ain't right with them.
Well, did you see that interview with Jaylen Brown? Basically, he's kind of tired of seeing his name pop up in all these trade rumors. And so, I don't know. Well, look, as an organization, I'm not going to wish Boston well.
Yeah. Okay.
And it was the same interview where he said he said the groundbreaking thing that Boston fans are a little bit racist. And that
It's just in.
that little segment got out. People were like, wait a minute. And I'm like, look, man, it started with y'all pooping in Bill Russell's house,
Mm-hmm.
and it's continued. And every black star that's played for a Boston team has said, yeah, it gets kind of these people get out of pocket. All of them have said it.
Which wasn't the 30 for 30 with them, the Lakers. The Bruins were outdrawing the Celtics, even though the Celtics were winning 8 titles in a row. That's basically
yes.
So, there you go.
Because they had Negroes. My favorite Boston anecdote is a few years ago. It's not even an anecdote; it's truth. So, the Boston Globe did a story on their whole thing was they were going to look at Boston head to toe, top to bottom, culturally, economically, whatever. Their whole thing was we're going to show y'all that we're not as racist as you say. It was an 8-part thing they did. Their conclusion, it's worse than we thought. Like, I mean, it was. So look, and their whole thing is racism everywhere. Yeah, it is. You're right. It is. But what y'all do in Boston, a little bit different than everybody else.
Yeah.
Anyway, so do you believe in the Sixers in the East? I don't.
They'll blow a lead in a minute. And a series lead, or also a 28, 29, 30-point lead in just a single game. So,
yeah,
I love you, Doc, but
Cavaliers, can you win with Donovan Mitchell being your dude? I don't think you can. I mean, yeah, he had that 70-point game and he's done a bunch of other things. I don't think you can win with him being your dude. The Knicks, I want to root for the Knicks because I want to see Quickly do well. Julius Randle went for 58, 59 the other night.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted, but they're the Knicks. And
Yeah.
God rest his soul, it took Willis Reed for them to win championships.
Yeah.
And then the Heat. The Heat, I don't even know what to think about the Heat.
I'm just surprised they even in the mix. Seems like they've been scuffling all year long to me.
Oh, yeah. And the Nets, too. I don't even know who's on the Nets anymore.
I'm surprised they're in the mix, too.
I couldn't tell you who's on the Nets. I have no idea.
Joe Harris still there? Did he get traded? I think whatchamacallit is back. Spencer Dinwiddie that was there.
Oh, is he back? Okay.
I think he got traded back once Kyrie, he got sent back to Brooklyn.
The Hawks, JR told us about the Hawks, so I ain't worried about the Hawks. The Raptors, man, I don't know how I follow a bunch of Raptors fans.
Ooh.
I don't know how that turned up, but I'm like, they're all respect the Raptors. You got Kawhi Leonard on a flyer, on a whim, because the Spurs are like, where can we send this dude? And it all came together.
Oh.
And it's like, come on, man.
Hey, we the North. They the North now.
Whatever. All I'm saying is, in a few years, we're going to look back and be like, the Raptors?
Yeah.
Like we...
Yeah.
Because at least when the Mavericks won, we knew Dirk was a dude, and he'd been a long time Maverick.
Yeah.
Okay. All the outliers, when you look at NBA champions, you're like, oh, okay. This can make sense. But
the best rental that lucked out and worked ever.
And he won, he was out. So I'm tired of the Raptors being like, nobody respects us. No, because no, your only finals appearance, you want no.
Mm-hmm.
The Bulls at 10, I guess, is that play-in game? 7 through 10 is a play-in game, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I see a bunch of Bulls fans. Hey, Y'all ain't got no history either. You looked into MJ. That's no history.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Pacers at 11. I ain't got nothing nice to say about the Pacers. But who knows? I think the East will be more entertaining than the West, because the West, I don't know nothing. There's no team in the West I would put $50 on.
Yeah. Just no trust. Yeah, I understand, man. I understand. Oh, game 2 of the CBI. Vandy and UAB. Is this CBI? Oh, NIT. My bad. This is NIT now. All right. So yeah, stacking them in the
Good for Vandy.
yeah.
I like Jerry Stackhouse because
Mm-hmm.
I like Stackhouse because he had a couple of good plays against Duke. So
Yeah.
anybody that beats Duke.
And the greatest forgotten about dunk contest history, because he went right after Vince Carter. And it would have been a fire dunk, but Vince just went and everybody just kind of like, okay, Jerry. But it was any other time it'd have got a 50 or 49, but it was right after Vince was doing what he was doing in 2000 that year, and nobody was even giving Jerry anything. I know you remember. I know you was watching this too.
Oh yeah, I love the dunk contest. It's through all of its iterations.
And Jason Richardson, we forget about he had a nice little run in there too in the 2000s when
a
lot of people tried to say it was dead. He was doing his thing back then too.
The dunk contest, I started getting out on it when Sean Kemp wasn't winning.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. He should have won.
He might be the best in-game dunker.
Yeah. Poor Chris Gatling, probably still getting PTSD from.
You know how good of a dunk it has to be when the dude you dunk on daps you up?
Like, what? Nothing else to do. You got me, man. Good.
Like, come on, man.
Yeah.
I think there's a category, and I saw this, and I can't remember the context I saw it in. There's got to be a Hall of Fame or a way to recognize people that may not have been like all-time greats at their profession, their sport, but their cultural impact meant something.
Mm-hmm.
I still think it's criminal. Bo Jackson is not in either Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't think of a dude that he was must-see TV.
Yeah.
Because I could tell you, did you see what Bo did? I could ask you that question in the 80s, early 90s. Was it a touchdown run? Was it a home run? You wouldn't know.
A catch, throwing somebody out at home plate. I mean, that.
And, you're just looking at the NFL. You got Bo Jackson. I would put Michael Vick. I know about the dog people. What I'm saying is to kind of change the game, you put them in there, right? That's the kind of stuff I'm talking about, where dudes that may not have been great,
right,
but hey, still must see TV. Mm-hmm. Sean Kemp on those Sonics teams was. I mean, you got Gary Payton coming down. You got Sean Kemp streaking down the sideline. Oh man,
mm-hmm.
Like that was a thing. So there needs to be something for dudes that you're just like, hey, that dude kind of all right.
Just on impact, yeah.
Right, that probably not going to end up in a Hall of Fame, but we should be able to recognize those guys. Those are my Bo Jackson All-Stars.
I like that. Well, man, we got it all in. We recapped the season. You as a gamer fighting through illness.
Yeah, I'll be all right though.
All that we got.
Kentucky will be back. Men's basketball, women's basketball. There's still baseball. There's still
softball.
Yeah, track and field and
mm-hmm.
Gymnastics finished 4th in SEC gymnastics, and I think they're sending some people to the national competition. And I mean, 4th in the SEC. That's tantamount to being like the fourth best football team. Like, you're still pretty good to get to that point. And so the gymnastics program had a lot of firsts this year. So, hey, I know that the men's hoops team and the women's hoops team didn't fare a whole lot better. So there's still so much to pay attention to. I'm all Cats everything, but we'll be back.
That's right. Congrats! We congratulate Sacred Heart for the girls' side. Warren Central out of Bowling Green won the boys Sweet 16. If I'm not mistaken, there's some unsales on that team. I don't know if they're related to the unsales, or not. It might be a different set, but I think they made it to the state championship game last year. Finished runners up, and they got back and were able to, get over the hump this year. So Sacred Heart and Warren Central, boys and girls state champions in the Sweet 16. I still love the way Kentucky does it. The state's divided into 16 regions. You got to win your region to go to Rupp Arena. I hope they never change it. Get those David and Goliath scenarios. Get little teams from the mountains where I'm from, playing teams from Louisville, from where you're from. And, hey, you had Clay County with Richie Farmer playing Allen Houston back in the day. I just hope they always keep it that way.
I need the Louisville teams to win, though.
I mean, Male made it pretty far.
I need the Louisville team to win.
Sacred Heart made it for the girls. But you need every year.
What's that?
Every year you need Louisville to win every year.
Yeah.
Well, okay. You entitled.
I root for Louisville schools no matter what when they play out in the state.
I got you.
Give me a Louisville school over a team I need to Google. No, that sounds very bad to me.
That's
because what happens is there's Louisville school and they'll be like, I don't know where this county is. I'm bad about it. In my defense, there's 120 counties in Kentucky. I can't know where they all are.
Right, that's true.
Because,
I try.
The girls, we be somewhere in Louisville mall or whatever. Oh, where's this county? I have no. I just learned about that one today. We'd go to the state fair, and the state fair they would have that those booths set up. It wouldn't be all 120, but there'd be like 80 counties represented with these booths. They have their tourism people, whatever county Abe Lincoln was born in had a dude dressed up like Abe Lincoln, and everybody's got a bit. Everybody's got a thing, and I'm like, look, I'm learning about these like y'all are. Menifee County, no clue. McGoffin County, don't know. Clay County, heard of it. Franklin County, know that one. And honestly, I try not to be the big Louisvillian, but I don't know.
No, it's
people. You tell me your county, you got to give me something. Pendleton County, got to give me something. I know Pike County because that's as far east as you can go, right?
Yeah, that's right there by West Virginia. Yep.
Right, I know that one. I know Christian County, that's Paducah.
Mm-hmm.
And I know Jefferson, obviously. I know all the counties between Louisville and Lexington.
Yeah, Jefferson, Bullets, it's Anderson County, Lawrenceburg is up in there between Louisville and Lexington, right?
Yeah, but it's just Louisville, it's just Jefferson, Shelby, Franklin, and Fayette. That's how you go through. But yeah, Bullitt County is on the western side. I know Bullitt County.
Mm-hmm.
I live close to Bullitt County, but look. Well, Iowa is smaller than Kentucky. Got 90 counties.
Mm-hmm.
And if you ever look at a map, they're a bunch of squares. They're little squares. Like that's one thing you'll notice about the states and stuff to the west. People just got lazy. The states are square.
Yeah.
And the counties out here, they're all square because people are like, we ain't got time.
Yeah, because you got, was it 4 corners with Utah?
Yeah, everybody all meets.
Probably, yeah.
And, Kentucky's the last Commonwealth. When Kentucky got admitted, they're like, yeah, we're not doing that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You got the 4 Commonwealths, Kentucky, Pennsylvania, Massachusetts, and Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
Rhode Island is something way different. Like Rhode Island has a big, long name, but Kentucky was the last one to be anything other than a state. They're like, yeah, we're not doing that. Y'all done enough, whatever this is.
Louisiana. Louisiana call them parishes. They didn't call them counties. They're like
That's
parishes
because
down
everything's
there.
different down there. Everything different. Always fun as we ramble on about the states getting their shapes and this
do some geography in there. So just for the heck of it. But we'll be back next week. Feel better. Get some rest. Take a pause. Take a little pause. You know, the season will be here. We ain't got to
follow we're gonna be fine.
Every little nook and cranny and move of
I can't do it.
Who's staying, who's coming. Yeah, we've been that way the whole time.
Whoever suits up at Rupp Arena for Big Blue Madness, I will cheer them on.
There you go.
I will start out every season like I always do. Oh yeah, you can't go win it all.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I start from until I get other evidence. But that's where I start.
Documenting every nanosecond of the offseason. That ain't this. We ain't your guys for that. So
y'all. No, we'll be all right.
Yeah.
Always good, man.
Yes, sir, man. We'll see everybody next week. Watch us on the Roku and follow us on the Twitter. Hey, TB might be taking a pause, but y'all know he's still out there going viral whenever he feels like it. Until next time, in another episode of Cats Talk Wednesday, brought to you by the BS3 Network. Appreciate y'all watching.